Hello class 10th, I am Junior your educator and I welcome you all in your biology class. I hope you all are doing well. Today in this video, we will be starting a new topic of chapter number 6 and that is transportation. So stay tuned with me and let's get started. Starting with the transportation, let us quickly recall the definition of life processes. What are life processes? They are the basic functions performed by the living organism to maintain their life. Or another definition is all the processes which are necessary to maintain life in an organism and are essential for their survival are called as life processes. All the basic activities or functions which any living organism perform for maintaining their life is called as life processes. By these life processes only, we can identify whether an organism is living or dead. If they are performing these processes, the organism is living, and if not, the organism is dead. There are majorly 4 life processes: nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion. We have already covered nutrition and respiration in the previous classes. So today we will start with the transportation. What do you mean by transportation? Yes, exactly. Transportation is the transport of any material, right? Literal meaning of transportation will be transport of any material from one place to another place, है ना? ट्रांसपोर्टेशन क्या होता है? ट्रांसपोर्ट ऑफ एनी मटेरियल फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू अनदर प्लेस, just like courier or parcel etc. that is done by the help of transportation, or we move from one place to another with the help of a transportation, right? So this was the literal meaning of transportation. But in the terms of biology, what is the meaning of transportation here? Here transportation means transport of digested food, gases, waste, etc. from one part of the body to another. Here in biology, we are discussing this in terms of our body. So, transportation is the transport of any digested food, the gases that are oxygen and carbon dioxide, and the waste produced in our body from one part of our body to another part of the body is called as transportation. In this complete chapter, we will study this transportation only in context with humans, transportation in humans and in plants mainly. Starting with the transportation in humans, firstly let's see why there is a need of transportation. Transportation क्यों ज़रूरी है? Firstly, taking the example of nutrition, we ingest or intake the food, then the food get digested and it gets assimilated in our small intestine, and now from the small intestine this assimilated food will need to get transported, right? Will need to get transported to all the cells of the body for providing them energy, right? For various functions, various processes, for the proper functioning of the cells, right? So how that assimilated food will be transported throughout the body? With the help of blood, or you can call it as with the help of transportation itself, right? So here transportation will help. So this is the one reason. If we consider the example of respiration also, we have seen that in respiration there is exchange of gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide. We intake the oxygen and carbon dioxide is exported. Carbon dioxide is exhaled out in the atmosphere and we inhale the oxygen from the atmosphere. Okay, this exchange of gases, we all know that this is being done in the alveoli of lungs, alveoline lungs, right? But how this oxygen will be transported to all the cells of the body for their survival, right? Oxygen is necessary for the survival of the cells. But how this oxygen in the alveoli will be transported to whole of the body? Yes, So hydration. This oxygen will be transported with the help of blood. So here is the need of transportation. We have seen that in nutrition, if we talk about nutrition, the ingested food get digested and assimilated in our small intestine, and from the small intestine that digested food need to be transported throughout the body. So that is why there is need of transportation, so that all the cells will get the energy from the assimilated food. And in respiration also we have seen that oxygen in the alveoli that is being exchanged with this carbon dioxide needs to be transported and provided to all the cells of the body. So हमने क्या देख लिया, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन की नीड क्यों है, क्यों ज़रूरत है ट्रांसपोर्टेशन की। एक तो जो हमने खाना खाया है उस खाने के से हमें जो एनर्जी प्रोवाइड होगी स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन से, वो खाना एसिमिलेटेड फूड कहाँ पे पूरी बॉडी में जाना चाहिए, सो दैट हर सेल्स को एनर्जी प्रोवाइड हो सके। एंड जो ऑक्सीजन आ रही है एल्वेलाई में एक्सचेंज हो रही है जो CO2 से, वो ऑक्सीजन भी पूरी बॉडी में सभी सेल्स को कैसे मिलेगी, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन की हेल्प से। अंडरस्टूड द नीड ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन and literal meaning of transportation. So now let's see the exact definition of transportation. What is transportation? It is a life process. It is a life process in which a substance absorbed or made in one part of the body of an organism is carried to another part of the body. Right? क्या देख रहे हैं हम इसमें? Transportation is a life process. ये एक ऐसा लाइफ प्रोसेस है जिसमें सब्सटेंस जो बन रहा है या फिर एब्जॉर्ब हो रहा है बॉडी के एक पार्ट में, उसको कैरी किया जा रहा है बॉडी के दूसरे पार्ट में। ट्रांसपोर्टेशन इज अ लाइफ प्रोसेस इन विच अ सब्सटेंस अब्जॉर्ब्ड और मेड इन वन पार्ट ऑफ द बॉडी ऑफ एन ऑर्गेनिज्म इज कैरीड टू अनदर पार्ट ऑफ इट्स बॉडी। आई होप दिस डेफिनेशन इज क्लियर टू यू। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द ट्रांसपोर्टेशन इन ह्यूमन्स। In humans, this transportation is also called as circulatory system. Circulatory system. Human contain two types of circulatory system: the blood circulatory system and the lymph circulatory system. Okay, so firstly we will discuss this blood circulatory system. Then later on in the chapter we will discuss about the lymph. So let's first understand this with the help of an analogy. If we consider any material in our daily life, day-to-day life, if any material we need to transport, that material will be transported with the help of vehicle from one place to another, right? And that vehicle will be driven on the roads, right? And the material that is transported so in context with the biology, take vehicle equivalent to the blood, roads equivalent to the blood vessels, and the materials or the parcels you can say which are being transported are the, just like we have seen right now, digested food, waste produced and gases. Alright, so हमने इसमें क्या देखा है, एक एनालॉजी की हेल्प से हमने समझा है क्या, अगर हम डेली लाइफ में देखें, अगर हमने कुछ एक जगह से दूसरी जगह ट्रांसपोर्ट करना है तो वो किसके थ्रू ट्रांसपोर्ट करेंगे, किसी व्हीकल के थ्रू। और हमने बायो में इसको कंसीडर कर लिया, व्हीकल को ब्लड से कंपेयर कर लिया हमने, ठीक है। ब्लड को किससे कंपेयर किया है, व्हीकल से। रोड्स जिस पे ये व्हीकल चलेगा उसको हमने किससे कंपेयर किया है, ब्लड वेसल से। मींस ब्लड वेसल्स जिसमें ब्लड फ्लो होगा, रोड्स जिस पे व्हीकल चलेगा। ऑलराइट, एंड द मटेरियल्स जो ट्रांसपोर्ट हो रहे हैं या जो पार्सल्स जो भेज रहे हैं उसको हमने किससे कंपेयर किया है, जो भी डाइजेस्टेड फूड है, वेस्ट प्रोड्यूस हो रहे हैं या गैसेज हैं, ठीक है। आई होप इस एनालॉजी से आपको हेल्प मिली होगी इसको और अच्छे से समझने में। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द components of human circulatory system. There are majorly three major components. So the major three components of the human circulatory system are blood vessels and heart. Let's start with the first component of human circulatory system, that is blood. Blood is the main medium through which all the materials are transported. Blood is a red color liquid. So it is a red colored fluid connective tissue. What is a fluid connective tissue? I hope you all guys remember what is fluid connective tissue. You might have studied this in the class 9th. So blood is a fluid connective tissue that is red in color. Why the color of the blood is red? Because of the presence of hemoglobin in its cells. So now let's talk about the components of blood. What are the major components of blood? First one is plasma. What is plasma? First component of blood is plasma. It is the liquid part of the blood. It is colorless or slightly yellowish in color because of the presence of mainly water in it. That is 90% of the plasma consists of water. All the dissolved substances that are digested, food, CO2, wastes, etc. are transported with the help of plasma. Plasma is the only one which transports all these substances from one part of the body to another part of the body. So second component of the blood is RBCs. RBCs are the red blood cells or corpuscles. Red blood corpuscles or cells, right? Why they are red in color? Because of the presence of hemoglobin in it. Hemoglobin, or you call it as HB. You might have gone to the doctor for checking up the level of your HB, right? This level is different in both male and female. And the color of RBCs are red due to the presence of hemoglobin pigment in it. Pigment is hemoglobin which gives red color to the blood. And this is present in RBCs itself. What is the function of RBCs? It carry oxygen. The third component of the blood is WBCs. WBCs are the white blood cells. White blood cells. The color is white. So WBCs are the white blood cells. They help us in fighting with the infection and protect us from diseases. How they protect us from diseases? Some cells in WBCs might kill the germs or bacteria by eating them. A WBC secretes some chemicals which kill that pathogens. What are pathogens? The foreign bodies that are causing diseases to us. As WBCs are protecting us from diseases, so that is why WBCs are called as soldiers of the body, as they are providing protection to us, right? This was all about WBCs. Now let's talk about the last component of blood, that is platelets. The fourth component is platelets. Platelets are the cells which don't have nucleus. They don't have nucleus inside it. What is the function of platelets? Firstly, let's see where this is formed. Platelets are formed in bone marrow. Bone marrow. And what is the function of platelets? Help in blood clotting. Blood clotting or coagulation of blood. Coagulation. Okay. What is the function of platelets? They help in the clotting of the blood. Why there is a need of blood clotting? Right? Why there is a need of platelets? Because suppose when we got injured, the bleeding starts, and what if the platelets are not there? If the platelets will not be present there, the bleeding would not stop. The bleeding won't stop. The blood will keep on flowing out of your body. So that is why there is a need of platelets. That's why platelets are very important. So now let's talk about the functions of blood. First one is blood carries oxygen from lungs to different parts of the body, right? Second one is blood carries CO2, that is carbon dioxide, from body to lungs for the exhalation. Third one is it carries the digested food from small intestine. Digested food from small intestine to all body parts. Fourth one is it carries the waste produced in the liver to kidneys for excretion. so that it can be excreted out in the form of urine or stools, right? The waste produced is called as urea. Fifth one is it carries hormones secreted from the endocrine glands to different parts of the body. And the sixth one is it protects the body from various diseases. Like we have seen the example of WBCs, in that WBCs help in fighting with the infections and protect us from diseases. They are also called as, right, they are also called as soldier of the body. This last one is blood regulates the body temperature. How? Humans are the warm-blooded animals. That means we need energy to regulate our body temperature, so that our body temperature does not vary with the changing environment, temperature of the changing environment. So that's why there is a need for us to maintain our body temperature. That is done with the help of blood. The blood capillaries present in the skin, present in our skin, helps to regulate the body temperature and maintain it at constant temperature, that is 37 degrees Celsius. So this was all about the functions of blood. Now let's start with the second component of human circulatory system, that is blood vessels. I have already told you an analogy in which we have compared the blood vessels with the roads on which the vehicle, that is blood, is traveling. Or you can say that in terms of biology, blood vessels are the vessels in which the blood is flowing. Let's talk about blood vessels. We have compared this with the analogy also. So blood vessels, you can say that they are the tubes or pipes through which the blood flows in the body. So what are blood vessels? The pipes or the tubes through which the blood flows in the body. There are three types of blood vessels mainly in human body, that are arteries, veins and capillaries. So let's talk about the arteries and veins firstly, parallelly, so that you can understand it well. Arteries and veins. So the first difference between arteries and veins is arteries carry the blood, both carry blood, right? But arteries carry the blood from heart to the body, or you can also say that, or away from the heart, that is towards the body. But here veins are carrying the blood from body to the heart, or that is, you can call it as towards the heart. Arteries are carrying blood away from the heart and veins are carrying blood towards the heart. As the arteries are carrying blood from the heart, so that means from there the blood needs to be pumped by the heart with a high pressure. So arteries are under high pressure, that is why they are thick walled. The walls of the artery are thick. So arteries are thick walled as compared to veins. Veins are thin walled. Why veins are thin walled? Because the veins are not under that much pressure. So that's why veins are thick walled and arteries are thick. So that's why veins are thin walled and arteries are thick walled due to high pressure, as the blood is being pumped by the heart under high pressure. Okay. As the arteries are thick walled, so the lumen, if we see the cross section area of the arteries, the lumen of artery is narrow, as they are thick walled. But the lumen of vein is wide, as the arteries are thin walled. Let's understand this with the help of a diagram. If we consider this as the cross section area and this is the thickening of the veins, so this is the lumen, right? The space, the gap, or you can say the void present here, the hollowness of the pipe. This is the lumen. So here lumen is white. But in case of arteries, if we talk about this as a cross section area of arteries are very thick walled. So the lumen is very narrow. Right? Yeah, the one other major difference between the arteries and veins is artery carry oxy blood or oxygenated blood. That means filled with oxygen. That blood is called as oxygenated blood. But veins carry deoxy blood. Deoxy means without oxygen. Deoxygenated blood means without oxygen, that is filled with carbon dioxide. No oxygen means it is filled with carbon dioxide. But there is one exception to it, that is arteries mostly carry the oxy blood, right? But here is one exception. And what is that exception? The pulmonary arteries always carries deoxy blood. Deoxy blood means filled with carbon dioxide. And in veins also there is an exception. And what is that exception? Can anybody guess? Yes, right. The pulmonary veins are the exception in veins. That is, pulmonary veins always carry oxy blood, oxygenated blood. This will be carried from lungs to the heart. And here this pulmonary arteries are carrying the deoxy blood from heart to lungs for oxygenation, right? So this is one exception of the arteries and veins, pulmonary arteries and pulmonary veins, right? And the last point is arteries, the major artery, the largest you can say. And the sixth point is main artery is aorta, that is attached with the left ventricle, one chamber of heart, left ventricle. With left ventricle, aorta is attached. What is aorta? It is the main artery, and aorta carries the oxy blood from heart to different parts of the body. So aorta is very large also as compared to the arteries present in the body, because it is the main artery carrying the oxy blood from heart to all the parts of the body. And the main vein, or you can say superior vein, that is carrying the deoxy blood from the body to heart is vena cava, is called as vena cava. This vena cava is attached to heart with right atrium. Right atrium is also a chamber of heart. We will discuss this in the structure of heart. There is one more point in veins, that is veins, the flow of veins are unidirectional. So in veins, walls are present in veins. Why the walls are present in veins? Because so that the backflow of blood can be prevented. As the vein are carrying blood from the body to the heart, that is, you all can understand that direction is against the gravity. So to prevent the backflow of blood, walls are present. Walls, just like the walls you have seen in your houses, attached with the pipes, water pipes, etc. So that similarly, walls are present in veins, but walls absent in arteries because there is no such condition. So this was the fourth point, fifth, sixth, and seventh. So these are the 7 points are the major differences between arteries and veins. So let's quickly recall this. Arteries are the one that carry blood from heart to the body, or you can call it as arteries carry blood away from the heart. This point is in concentration with the heart is taken as the reference point. So arteries are carrying blood away from the heart and veins are carrying blood towards the heart. Okay, next one is arteries are thick walled. Arteries are very thick walled. As they are thick walled, the lumen, this is the lumen will be very narrow. Why they are thick walled? Because arteries are under high pressure carrying the oxy blood from the heart to the body parts. But the veins as compared to arteries are thin walled, and so the lumen is wide. Here you can see that this is the lumen, that is very wide as compared to the lumen of arteries. The next one is walls are absent in arteries but walls are present in veins to prevent the backflow. Backflow of blood. Okay, and the arteries majorly carry oxy blood, that is blood filled with the oxygen from heart to body parts, all the body parts. But veins mostly carries deoxy blood. Deoxy blood means blood filled with the carbon dioxide, means oxygen is absent. What do you mean by that? If oxygen is absent, carbon dioxide will be present. So veins carry deoxy blood from the body parts to the heart. There is one exception in this context, that is the pulmonary arteries. You have to remember this is very important point. The pulmonary arteries are the one which carry deoxy blood always from heart to lungs. And pulmonary veins are the exception in veins that always carry oxy blood filled with oxygen from lungs to the heart. Okay, the main artery is called as aorta, that is attached with the left ventricle of the heart, and the main vein is called as vena cava, that is attached with the right atrium of the heart. So this was all about the arteries and veins, the major blood vessels which are carrying the blood. So now let's talk about the third part of the blood vessel, that are capillaries. Capillaries are very thin walled and extremely narrow tubes or blood vessels. ये बहुत ज़्यादा thin walled होती हैं, इनकी walls बहुत ज़्यादा पतली होती है और extremely narrow होती हैं ये tubes. बिल्कुल जैसे हमारे hairs हैं जितने पतले पतले, just like that capillaries का size होता है. Okay? And what is the function of capillaries? They connect arteries to veins. Capillaries connect the arteries to the veins. So we can call it as intermediators between the arteries and veins, because they are connecting both arteries and veins. The walls of the capillary are only single cell thick. सिर्फ इतनी सी थिकनेस है इसकी जितनी एक सिंगल सेल की होगी सिर्फ. ठीक है. The cells of the body, जो भी body या tissue के cells हैं, that are present very close to the capillaries. So you can say that capillaries are present very close to the cells of the body, in very close association with the cells and the body as compared to the other blood vessels. You can say that capillaries are the point where the exchange of various substances will take place, as they are in very close association with the cells of the body. Capillaries are the exchange point of what? Various dissolved substances. Dissolved substances like food, oxygen, carbon dioxide, waste, etc. So if we understand this with the help of a diagram, as you can see here in the diagram, the capillaries As you can see in the diagram here also, that the arteries divide into capillaries. Arteries divide into thin capillaries. So blood from the artery will flow into the capillaries, and the capillaries, we know that they are in very close contact with the blood cells. So the exchange of gases, waste and food will take place, and the capillaries then connect to form the veins. So the vein is carrying deoxy blood. The arteries divide into capillaries. The blood from the arteries travel into the capillaries, right? And that blood is oxy blood, right? Arteries are carrying the oxy blood, na? So that is why arteries, the oxy blood from the arteries is flowing into the capillaries. These capillaries are then, you know that they are in close contact with the cells of the tissues. So exchanging the materials required, giving the essential material to the cell and taking the waste material from the cells. Okay, then these capillary combine to form the veins, or you can say that other end of the capillaries combine to form the veins, and that vein will carry now the deoxy blood from the tissues or the body cells to the heart. So this was all about the capillaries. So yeah, this was all about today's class. I hope you understand it well. In the next video, we will be discussing about the heart, the main pumping organ of the blood in human circulatory system. So till then, keep smiling, keep studying, stay tuned with me and take care. Bye-bye.